Hey there, it's Evangeline right here at eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at the front runner Footwell water tank. This is going to be a 10.6 gallon tank that fits right behind the front seats of your vehicle. It's going to be an almost universal fit, so we'll talk about what types of vehicles this fits, how much capacity this gives you, why you may or may not want this water tank, as well as what other things you probably should get in order to get the best experience out of this tank. If you're planning on bringing your friends and family with you on the road trip, the car is packed, this might not be the best fit. As you can see, I don't really have much space for my legs and I really need little space in general. So this is gonna be ideal for, let's say if it's just you on a trip or you and another person, or maybe have kids still in car seats or just dogs in the back of the car that already have their little dog mat. And in those cases, you might not be utilizing your Footwell space, and with this tank, you're then able to just ditch the regular water containers and get this instead. This is designed to fit most vehicles, and that's because it has a cutout in the middle that works with most sedans and SUVs. Funnily enough, this actually does not fit three-door Jeep Wranglers, Suzuki Jimneys, Toyota FJ Cruisers, vehicles like that. And you might wonder, well, they're adventure vehicles. Wouldn't they need a water tank? The good news is Front Runner does have other water tanks that are more suitable for that style of a vehicle, like the slanted water tank I installed inside a Wrangler. But for your SUVs, like your Toyota RAV4s, your Honda Pilots, things like that, that cutout fits in that design. Now, here on the RAV4, it wasn't particularly a perfect custom fit. When we put it into the Footwell, I did notice that there was a good amount of side-to-side wobble on that tank. So not ideal, but it still worked. The concept is though that once you do have it in your vehicle, then hopefully you can just shim up the bottom if you do find that it doesn't fit as well. We also have a rubber mat in here, which does also affect how that cutout fits. And finally, hopefully the weight of the water helps weigh down your tank, which then reduces the wobble. This has a capacity of 10.6 gallons, and since this is made of a food grade plastic, you can put drinking water in there and that's all fine. To fill it up, you have one input port. So let's just unscrew this cap, and you'll see that you have this nice little stopper on that cap just to prevent you from losing it when you do need to fill this up. But before you fill this up with water, there's something that you really need to know. And that is that these ports over here, they do not have stoppers on them. They're not plugs, they're there so that you can attach a hose. So a hose and a plug is not included with your water tank. You do have to get these separately. You can get the Front Runner hoses, which is what I have here at eTrailer, or you can use pretty much any water or drinking water grade hose from any other place if you already have one. That will attach at the end of your tank, and make sure to secure it with the proper hose clamp. Two things when you are filling up your water tank. I do recommend doing this while your tank is installed because it'll be pretty difficult to lift that heavy thing into your vehicle filled up. The second thing is usually camp spots will have a potable water station, and they will have a hose there that you can fill up your water tanks at. So that would be ideal. Currently we have just a regular blue water container, which this water tank would be pretty much replacing. So that's how we're going to fill up our tank. This tank has 6 gallons of water, so it won't fill up our tank completely, but it'll get us pretty close into a good weight. I did have to make sure I was pushing the tank back and forth to make sure that the water was actually distributing because it wasn't fully level. But now that it's weighed down, much less movement of the tank itself. Now here's the thing though, while the tank is moving a little bit less, this is also a hollow tank. There's no baffling or like the ridges on the inside of a tank to prevent sloshing. So the true test of how this will work is if we go for a drive and if we get annoyed by sloshing water or not. driving around the eTrailer parking lot, and we have some spots where we can make some sharp turns as well as go over some speed bumps, and I can already hear the water sloshing around. It's not awful, but I could see how it could get a little annoying over time. And if we go over some speed bumps here, go up and down, you can hear the water moving there behind you. So if you're the type of person that gets annoyed from just your water bottle sloshing around as you drive around, then this sound over here, that might be a little irritating over time. So it is really up to you how filled do you keep your water tank and how much you can ignore that. If you're the type of person that just plays music and podcasts throughout your entire adventure though, it's not crazy loud where I would hear it over that. All in all, it really does depend what type of situation you find yourself in. This really is ideal for a lot of my car camping trips where it would just be me or usually another person with me. This back seat is usually filled with crates, other containers, and those are things that I stick into the wheel or the footwell areas. Now, I do like this with how it maximizes that footwell space that I may not have been using, but I really wish it did two things better. The first was that I wish that it had its own plugs or its own hoses, and that way I didn't have to get something separate to make sure that when I filled it up, it wasn't gonna leak all over the vehicle. So hopefully this video showed that so that you can be prepared before you get this installed in your car and fill it up. So make sure to get some hoses or some plugs for those side ports. The second thing is baffling. I myself am the type of person that does get annoyed by the sound of a water bottle slushing around in my cup holder. So for me personally, hearing that water swoosh around, not ideal. I like to drive in silence sometimes, and this isn't quite silent. So that is something to consider as well and to plan around if you are someone that likes to play music or you don't mind the sound of water sloshing around or you keep this full, it'll be all fine for you. So with that in mind, hopefully this video just helps explain how you might live with this water tank, if it does fit into your vehicle and your SUV, and if it is a good fit for you and your adventures. But today, this was the Front Runner Footwell water tank. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed this journey.